Afternoon, a little chat today about a few problems with plum trees. I'll show you the worst affected. Here we have one of my plum trees and it's okay, you know, it's got a bit of a crop on it. I didn't pollinate this one myself, I left it to the pollinators just as an experiment, and I only got about a quarter of the crop. But also, if you have a lot of people around you who are growing greens, as we all tend to in allotments, then what you are going to get is when they pick their greens, the white fly, see these tiny little white dots here, are going to attack the leaves of your plum trees. And also, if it rains heavily, as it has done in the UK previously in April, weeks and weeks, you might get this black sooty mould. Okay, basically that is a fungus. So this is a two-pronged attack on your fruit tree. But the leaves are needed for photosynthesis, which makes the sugars, which helps and passes around the fruit, around the vascular bundles, the xylem and phloem, and then that goes, the sugars can go into your ripening plums. Now this is probably my worst affected tree, so what to do about it? The way that you can tell that this infection on a plum tree is black sooty mould is if you take your thumb, you can rub it off, do you see? So it's not silver leaf, it is a mould, and the little holes is basically where infected areas of a leaf which have grown mould have dropped out. Basically you've got a tiny little white fly on this leaf. They're feeding on it, making honeydew. Of course that attracts ants, so the idea is I'm spraying this with milk and bicarb. Good air circulation is necessary for all fruit trees, but it's a very common problem this time of year. Firstly, the sooty mould. Well, your best bet is bicarbonate of soda, which you can buy in either baking variety or larger packs, and good old milk, full fat milk. Now I basically make a dilution. I would put a good 3 tablespoons of this into my pressure litre sprayer here, okay, which is about 1.5 litres, and as you can see I've about half filled it full of water, and then the remainder of this milk in here, which is probably a good couple of 100 mils, I will then put that on top of the bicarb. This is to treat your black soot, which is the mould, and it also attacks things like garden furniture, but in this case this is for the mould. Now the second thing is, what about those pesky whitefly? Well, if you don't want chemicals to get into your fruit, because remember you're going to eat them, why not try soda crystals? You could try 3 tablespoons of soda crystals into water, okay? This is a separate solution. So first off, the first week I'm just going to treat the sooty mould with bicarb and milk. The second week I'm going to come back and on its own I'm going to have a go at the insects using soda crystals. Now this stuff has a pH of about 10.5, it's very alkali, so you can wear gloves with this, and if you're very worried about the spray you can also put safety glasses on. I wear very thick sunglasses if you're worried about it getting in your eye, because it is caustic. But the idea behind this is it dissolves the exoskeleton, that is the outside part of insects, and also it makes it difficult for them to breathe. If you don't have any soda crystals, you could use ordinary soap, that is soap that you use to wash your hands, not liquid soap, the bar soap. Soak it in water overnight, take the bar of soap out and use the liquid from that to spray your tree. But you have to keep going. One treatment isn't enough, you may have to do 1 a week. That's my tip for this visit now, and I'm about to carry it out myself. And here we go, a nice fine misting spray. Make sure you give the leaves a good old coating. On this instance I'm not picking these leaves off because they're still photosynthesizing, basically giving them a really good coating of bicarb and milk, as you can see. So the idea is to kill the mould on them. For this plum tree I'm just treating the sooty mould for now, and that's it. Just carry on. As you can see it's absolutely proper drenched, this tree, and next week I'm going to come back and it'll have another treat, but next week it's going to be treated with the soda crystals, and they'll get rid of any of the remaining whitefly that haven't drowned in this. Don't forget, milk and bicarb can be effective against ants. They don't like the fact that you're using an alkaline solution, and it gets rid of their marker trails, because ants of course rely on an acid, formic acid. They don't like things like bicarb. So you can put some sprayers on the trunk of the tree, I do as well. But there you go. There's a little tip from me then about caring for plum trees at this time of year. This plum tree leaf is a classic thing called shot hole, the resemblance to an effective shotgun pellets going through something. Basically, it's where you've got pockets of fungus where it's been infected by something like a whitefly, and their waste, etc., in moist, damp environments, lack of airflow, grows fungus, and the areas that die in the leaf, like a paper punch, just drop out. So basically, it's a fungal treatment and it's a pest as well. Well, that's it for me today, and I hope some of the tips will be of use to you on your fruit tree growing.